What if Tanjiro was guided by Yoriichi instead of Sabito and Makomo? One of you guys actually commented this idea on one of my videos, and I thought it was really good. I can't find the name right now, so I'm sorry about that, but shout out to whoever suggested it. This isn't just going to cover the boulder training though. We're doing the entire story. In this what if, Yoriichi Tsugikuni guides Tanjiro every step of the way. Think of it like a Force ghost from Star Wars. Yoriichi appears whenever Tanjiro is training or fighting, helping him grow into a true sun breather. So let's get right into the video. We basically start off the same way as the original story. Tanjiro goes out to sell coal, and on his way back, he's stopped by the old man who warns him about demons. The old man convinces him to stay the night. When Tanjiro returns the next morning, he finds his family slaughtered. Nezuko is the only one left, but she's turned into a demon. Tanjiro tries to help her, and that's when Giyu shows up, and everything from there plays out just like the original. So, we're not going to change anything at the very beginning. Instead, let's skip forward to the training with Sakonji Urokodaki, the former water Hashira, and this is where we first see Yoriichi Tsugikuni enter the story. Just like in the original timeline, Urokodaki leaves Tanjiro with the task of cutting the boulder before he can qualify for final selection. But this time, instead of Sabito and Makomo appearing to help him, it's Yoriichi Tsugikuni who shows up. Yoriichi trains Tanjiro directly, teaching him proper swordsmanship, refining his breathing, and even explaining the basics of sun breathing. Because of this, Tanjiro becomes way more powerful than in the original timeline and is able to slice the boulder much easier. Urokodaki is a little unsettled when Tanjiro explains that it was Yoriichi guiding him, since he doesn't fully understand what's happening. But either way, the results speak for themselves. Tanjiro now knows sun breathing far earlier than he should. In the original timeline, Tanjiro's first use of sun breathing was during the battle with Rui on Mount Natagumo against Lower Moon 5. But here, he's already learned it before final selection. This gives him a huge head start compared to the original story. So, Tanjiro goes through the final selection and clears out the demons pretty easily. Honestly, he could probably handle every demon in his area. The only one that gives him some trouble is the big hand demon, but with Yoriichi guiding him, and with sun breathing already in his arsenal, it's way easier than in the original timeline. From there, most of the early fights go the same, until we reach that big city encounter with Muzan. And just like in the original, Tanjiro can't do anything here. Muzan immediately creates a new demon in the middle of the crowd, and with so many people around and so many buildings, Tanjiro isn't strong enough yet to even try and fight him. The real turning point comes with Rui, the Lower Moon 5. In the original timeline, this was Tanjiro's first time using sun breathing, but now, with Yoriichi guiding him through every demon battle up until this point, the drum demon, the swamp demon, all of them, Tanjiro is way more skilled. During Rui's fight, with Nezuko trapped in his webs and Tanjiro on the brink of death, everything lines up for him to finally unlock the Demon Slayer mark. With the mark activated and his sun breathing techniques sharpened by Yoriichi's training, Tanjiro slices Rui's head off almost instantly. Right after Rui's defeat, Tanjiro is brought into the Hashira meeting. Just like in the original, the Hashira question why he's traveling with a demon. Things play out the same, up until the point where Sanemi tries to hurt Nezuko, but this time, it doesn't go that way. Tanjiro is way stronger now, and instead of just landing that one famous headbutt, he actually fights back. Even without being able to activate his Demon Slayer mark at will, his training with Yoriichi makes him strong enough to hold his own against Sanemi until Kagaya, the master, arrives. Once Kagaya shows up, he confirms that Giyu and Urokodaki vouched for Tanjiro and Nezuko, and the two are officially accepted into the corps. And with that, we move right into the Mugen Train arc, which is going to be very interesting in this timeline. With Rengoku, they all board the train, and they all fall under Enmu's spell, Lower Moon 1's dream. But this time, Yoriichi guides Tanjiro out of the dream, while most of the others still get woken up by Nezuko. They all split up, with Tanjiro and Inosuke going after Enmu, Lower Moon 1, while Rengoku, Zenitsu, and Nezuko protect the train. After that, Tanjiro finishes Enmu off using his sun breathing, powered up with Yoriichi's help. With that boost, they kill Enmu way faster. The train still derails, just like in the original, and now we see Upper Moon 3, Akaza. Now this time, Tanjiro does not get stabbed, because he's way more experienced and senses it before it even happens. So he joins Rengoku in fighting Akaza. He's actually a huge help here, because after fighting Lower Moon 1 and now clashing with Akaza, Tanjiro activated his Demon Slayer mark. With it activated, he and Rengoku go all in against Akaza. Inosuke isn't strong enough to join in, and Zenitsu and Nezuko are still passed out, so it's just the two of them holding the line. Tanjiro is still a little weaker than Rengoku, but he's a solid support in the fight. During the battle, Tanjiro has a flashback, Yoriichi teaching him that to defeat this enemy, he needs to use the selfless state. Then another memory hits. His father fighting the bear with a rusty axe, showing no battle intent. That's exactly what Yoriichi told him to do. And in this timeline, Tanjiro finally activates the selfless state. With it, he cuts off Akaza's head. Now, if you've seen the new Demon Slayer movie, you know why I'm going into more detail here. The selfless state was shown beautifully on the big screen, and that's why I wanted to really focus on it in this What If. So in this version, Tanjiro activated his Demon Slayer mark, then used the selfless state to kill Akaza. Akaza, realizing everything as he's close to death, delivers the final blow blow to himself, punching through his own body, and finally reunites with his wife in the afterlife. Now Tanjiro has the Demon Slayer mark and the selfless state. The only thing he really needs now is full mastery of the transparent world. He's seen glimpses of it for a quick second, but he hasn't mastered it yet. At least now, he knows how to activate his Demon Slayer mark at will. When he returns, Tanjiro explains everything to the Hashira, how the mark is activated, what conditions are needed, and how to push past limits to reach it. Now we move into the Entertainment District arc with Tengen. Let's skip past all the dialogue of scouting and hunting for demons, straight into the fight. When Tanjiro faces Daki, it's not even close. Tanjiro basically mop-wops her, defeating her super quick and super easy. He never gets pushed to the point of rage, his eyes never fill with blood, he just cuts her down fast. Then comes the real Upper Moon 6, Gyutaro. With both him and Daki together, the fight would normally drag out, but in this timeline, Tanjiro's selfless state makes him incredibly powerful. He can hold his own against Gyutaro until Tengen joins the battle. Once Tengen's in, it's basically wraps. Remember, Tengen is immune to poison, which takes away Gyutaro's biggest advantage. With Tanjiro's support, they kill Gyutaro and Daki way faster. Because of this, Tengen never loses his arm, and with Nezuko's help healing the poison, both Tanjiro and Tengen are fine by the end. This makes the Entertainment District arc way quicker and way easier. And most importantly, Tengen doesn't retire in this timeline. He stays active, which means he's still there for the final battles too. Now let's get into the Swordsmith Village arc. In this timeline, Tanjiro never actually gets a brand new sword because he's such a skilled swordsman now that he doesn't break his blade. But after so many battles and constant training, his sword is definitely worn down. So he travels to the Swordsmith Village anyway after the Entertainment District arc. Everything up to this point plays out pretty much the same as the original timeline. But then we reach the big battle, Upper Moon 4, Hantengu. This fight brings in Muichiro Tokito, Tanjiro, Nezuko, and Genya going up against him. So, Tokito and Tanjiro are basically on the same level here, though Tanjiro is probably just a little bit stronger. At this point, Tanjiro is basically Hashira level, because with the selfless state, the Demon Slayer mark, and sun breathing, he's almost on Yoriichi's level. The only thing he's missing is more mastery over sun breathing and the transparent world. Either way, he's a huge help in this battle. Nezuko still gives him the red blade, and Tokito never gets blasted away because Tanjiro is so fast and aware. He reacts instantly and grabs Tokito before it happens. Now back to the red blade. Tanjiro could make it red on his own just by activating the mark and gripping his sword hard. But with Nezuko's blood demon art added on top, it's way more effective since her flames hurt demons even more. Tanjiro is strong enough to fight all 4 of Hantengu's emotion clones by himself. When those 4 merge into the giant version, Tokito takes that one on, while Tanjiro, Nezuko, and Genya go after the main body. Meanwhile, Mitsuri shows up, and this time, she ends up fighting Upper Moon 5, Gyoko. So, Mitsuri basically does everything she did in the original timeline at first. She defeats all of Upper Moon 5, Gyoko's little fish minions, and saves the village chief. But in this timeline, since Muichiro is already busy fighting Upper Moon 4, Mitsuri is the one who goes up against Gyoko directly. This time, she awakens her Demon Slayer mark while fighting him. And unlike the original, she doesn't get trapped in the water prison, since most of the people are already out of danger. She's able to keep her distance with her longsword and avoid being sealed. She comes in time to save the little kid and the swordsmiths, and from there, she pretty much defeats Gyoko, the same way Muichiro did in the original story. With Upper Moon 5 taken care of, we switch back to the Upper Moon 4 battle. Mitsuri throws Tanjiro his brand new sword, and Tanjiro uses it to cut off Hantengu's main body's head. Nezuko still becomes immune to sunlight in this timeline, meaning she can walk freely under the sun, and that's exactly what triggers Muzan's plan to go after her. And with that, we move into the Hashira training arc. It's basically the same, but this time, we've got both Rengoku and Tengen still active. Tengen was already around in the original, but in this timeline, he never retired, so now he's back in the mix. Also, Tanjiro already knows how to activate the Demon Slayer mark at will, and during training, he helps the other Hashira figure it out too. So by the end of this arc, almost all of them are pushing their limits and unlocking their marks. From here, things move toward the final showdown. The head of the Ubuyashiki family sacrifices himself when Muzan comes for him, and Muzan takes his life. That sets everything into motion, and all of the Hashira rush in to fight Muzan. Once they clash, Muzan traps everyone inside the Infinity Castle, and this kicks off the Infinity Castle arc. Now let's break it down. Who's fighting who? So let's switch things up and start with the side battles. First, we've got Zenitsu versus Kaigaku. That one plays out the same as the original timeline, with Zenitsu unleashing his brand new 7th form. And if you've seen the new Demon Slayer movie, you got to see that in full animation. It looked incredible. Next, we move to the fight against Nakime, the Biwa demon. Yushiro is there interfering with her control, and meanwhile, Mitsuri and Obanai help him. Now let's get into the main Upper Moon battles. Remember, this is before Nakime dies, so her job is still to scatter the Hashira across the castle to stop them from all teaming up at once. For the Upper Moon 1 fight, we've got Tanjiro, Giyu, Sanemi, and Muichiro. With this lineup, the battle is brutal, but Tanjiro also receives guidance from Yoriichi during the fight. Tanjiro sees flashbacks of Yoriichi's past, learns the story of Kokushibo's jealousy, and truly understands his tragedy. After Kokushibo is defeated and his head is cut off, he chooses to end things himself, reflecting on his brother with sadness before finally dying. For the Upper Moon 2 fight, the lineup is Shinobu, Kanao, Inosuke, Rengoku, and Gyomei. Shinobu once said that defeating Doma would take the equivalent of 3 Hashira working together. Here, they've got more than enough. With Gyomei's raw power, Rengoku's speed, Giyu's defensive style, plus Kanao and Inosuke backing them up, Doma stands no chance. This time, Shinobu doesn't need to sacrifice herself. They overwhelm him and kill him outright. With the Upper Moons defeated, Muzan realizes Nakimi has been compromised and kills her on the spot. That collapses the Infinity Castle and ejects everyone into the surface. From here, we head straight into the Sunrise Countdown arc. Now with Tanjiro almost on Yoriichi's level, after mastering the transparent world in the Upper Moon 1 fight and nearly perfecting sun breathing, Yoriichi's spirit guides him through the entire final battle with Muzan. With that guidance, Tanjiro is able to strike all of Muzan's 7 hearts at once. And since all the Hashira are still alive in this timeline, backing him up, the fight is way easier than in the original. Tanjiro never becomes Demon King Tanjiro here. It doesn't even get a chance to happen because Yoriichi is guiding him the whole way. So no Hashira die in this version, except for Gyomei. Like Kokushibo said, after unlocking the mark, he wouldn't live past this night since he was already over 25. Gyomei dies peacefully, reunited with his family and the children he once cared for. Meanwhile, the others live on. We get to see Mitsuri and Obanai's love story play out. Giyu and Shinobu's bond finally blossoms, my personal favorite. Muichiro lives, so his bloodline doesn't end. Same with Shinobu's bloodline. It carries on instead of dying with her like in the original. Overall, this creates a much happier ending for Demon Slayer. I really like how this what if turned out, and I hope you guys enjoyed it too. If you did, click on this video right here for more of my content, and let me know down in the comments if you've got any other Demon Slayer what ifs you want to see me cover.